Thank you, Mr. President.
If you interrupt the meeting, you're going to be thrown out. Yeah, you're going all out.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, members of the City County Council. Good evening. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you tonight to talk about our war against crime and our fight to lower property taxes for the people of our city. These are both complex and challenging problems, but the history of our great city is to face major challenges head-on and to prevail. We will prevail again on these issues, and we will continue the remarkable success story of the city of Indianapolis. I was given a quote from a Minneapolis Star-Tribune columnist the day after the tragic bridge collapse in that city that is particularly relevant at this juncture in our city's history. Quote, "We are years behind a dangerous curve when it comes to the replacement of infrastructure that everyone agrees is one of the basic duties of government." End quote. The clear lesson from Minnesota and the destruction wrought on New Orleans from Hurricane Katrina is if you don't invest in the basics, whether it is bridges or levees or in our case, public safety, you will pay a price someday. Together, we have a history of facing up to the challenges that modern American cities confront. In a bipartisan manner, we have committed to fix our sewer system, to end the medieval practice of discharging raw sewage into our creeks and rivers after it rains. We invested in our stormwater drainage system and will complete hundreds of drainage projects over the next several years to improve the quality of life in our neighborhoods. Tonight, I ask all of you to reach down and find that same spirit of cooperation to fix yet another neglected problem of the past, woefully inadequate funding of public safety. We must pass a budget that helps us win the war against crime. At the same time, we face a property tax crisis. People are angry, and I share their anger. The lives of too many people in our city have been turned upside down by this travesty. People have seen the dreams of a lifetime, sending a child to college, retiring or even staying retired, even staying in their home, appear to crash down around them when they opened that fateful envelope. With this budget, our taxpayers will see a significant reduction in the property taxes collected by city and county government. With a couple straightforward steps, which I will describe in a minute, the state can reduce the tax bill further. Looking back over 7 years, I am proud of my administration's record in partnership with the Council of fiscal responsibility. In this budget, the total amount of property tax collected by the city in an apples-to-apples comparison will be lower than it was the year I took office. We have cut $83 million out of approved budgets the last 4 years, and together with members of the Council, 2 weeks ago, I announced another $13 million in budget cuts, along with a city and county hiring freeze. Those parts of Indianapolis works that have already been implemented, the police merger, and the Washington and Warren Township fire mergers, are saving nearly $20 million a year for our taxpayers. Tonight, we continue our battle against property taxes. The budget I am proposing holds the line on overall spending, even as it includes all the components of our anti-crime package. The total amount of property taxes to be collected for city and county government and state mandates is cut by $50 million. That is an 11% reduction. And one result of the income tax vote 2 weeks ago is that, by law, all government taxing units in Marion County, that's libraries, townships, the cities of Lawrence, Beech Grove, and Southport, the town of Speedway, and all the others, except schools, which the state legislature chose to treat differently, are prohibited from increasing property taxes for at least 2 years. You know, Indianapolis has become a big city. With that growth comes social and economic change. Our public safety and criminal justice systems have not kept up with that change. In this budget, I am setting forth a plan to fix a criminal justice system that has been stuck back in the 1970s and to support an escalated war against crime. We will pay off the unfunded pension liability for retired police officers and firefighters that has wreaked havoc on our crime-fighting budgets for decades. Our retired public safety heroes deserve it, and it is simply the right thing to do. We will permanently fund the new criminal courts, the huge increase in jail beds, the investments in the crime lab, the additional prosecutors, and all the other dramatic improvements we have made in recent months that ended the early release of dangerous criminals from the Marion County Jail. So much has happened in the last year. It's hard for some to remember that often as many as 500 criminals a month were being released from the jail because of jail overcrowding, until we ended it exactly 1 year ago today. We will not go back to those days. This plan makes clear we are coming after the criminals with everything we have. We will add 100 new officers to the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department force. We will increase the department's capacity to train new recruits. We will fund crime prevention and early intervention. We will add more jail beds to lock up those who habitually commit smaller crimes, and we will provide more resources for our crime lab investigators. Why now? Well, if not now, when? Have we forgotten the community's pain over the news of a family of 7 murdered in their home? Do we remember the child taken from her bus stop and raped? The downtown office worker abducted in a parking garage and raped? When we contemplate $500 million in unfunded pension liabilities for police officers and firefighters in Indianapolis, has the memory of Enron and so many other corporate scandals that destroyed the pensions of hundreds of thousands of people faded away so quickly? We know what to do to effectively fight the war against crime. What we have already done is working, thanks to the untiring efforts of Sheriff Anderson, Chief Spears, and the men and women of the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. Finishing the job is a test of our resolve. It is time to show that collective resolve by passing our crime-fighting budget. Now, I want to thank the city and county department heads and elected officials who understood the very difficult constraints we faced in putting together this budget, and our city controller, Bob Clifford, and our Office of Finance and Management staff for their tireless efforts on the budget, on the crime-fighting package, and on property tax analysis these last several months. They have worked together as a team with the outstanding council staff in a very difficult fiscal environment. And I want to thank our terrific city and county employees who once again are being asked to do more with less. They always rise to the occasion, and they deserve the gratitude of everyone whom they serve. Now, I'm going to take a few minutes to set the record straight on the property tax debacle that the entire state is facing, but which is felt